What sort of mum has Sarah been to you over the years?
Not very good. She had her own situation and she struggled.
What does she mean, Sarah, do you think, by the word struggles? Asking you. Michelle. There's Bryony, Sarah, when she was a little baby.
She was amazing. She was the best thing that ever happened.
The best thing that ever happened. And you were just a child then as well, right? Sarah, you're a drug addict.
I was.
She was a drug addict when you were a child.
Yes.
You've set out a series of instances in your childhood. You just tell me a few of them.
For instance, I've seen my mum taking drugs. I've walked in, she thought I was out, and I've walked in and caught her and her friends taking drugs in the living room.
Let's just be clear, how old were you?
I was about 10.
Now, when you say taking drugs, you need to describe to me what you mean by that. What was the scene?
There was needles, there was heroin.
It was amphetamine that time. You want to know the truth?
I do want to know the truth. I don't want you to interrupt me. How did Mum pay for her drugs, Bryony?
She either sold her body or she went out robbing.
In terms of prostitution, what did you see?
I've not really seen her do much, but I've seen men come into the house. I've seen her go out and leave me in the house. So I knew what she was doing.
When you were a little girl, because there were men coming in and out of the house, what did you do?
There was a couple of times I slept with either some scissors or like a knife.
How old were you then?
About 10. It was just after my dad died, so I was about 10.
How does that feel now you're an adult to think about that now?
It hurts, but it's something I have to deal with.
She said she's good with your children, correct?
She's good with my children.
That's not
when
nothing.
she sees them.
Well, why doesn't she see them more often? Whose fault is that, please, Carolyn?
Michelle's.
Do you use your children?
No.
I haven't finished asking the question. Do you use visitation of grandma as a stick to beat her with?
No.
That true?
She does. Until September last year, I do a job and I work nights and I can sometimes go to visit the children when no sleep. I'm kind, I'm considerate, I'm a good person. And I love all my grandchildren.
Lies.
How many children have you got?
I've got 5.
You've had one quite recently, correct?
Yes.
And that little boy's name is?
Elijah.
When was it that your biological mother, Carolyn, was allowed to see him?
Never.
Why not?
Because she wished him dead.
This little boy. You're saying the most serious allegation against Carolyn imaginable.
Thank you.
That she wished her own grandson dead.
Which I'd had a miscarriage previously before him as well.
I've had 8 miscarriages.
That's a very serious allegation. Is it true?
No, it's
More
not
lies?
true. Why would I say that when I've had the same thing happen to me?
She wasn't there for me when I had my miscarriage.
Nan, that's a very serious allegation. Did you make that comment?
No.
And how do you feel about not having seen Elijah over there?
Hurt.
Why?
Why am I hurt? Because that's my first grandson.
There was another person who attended your mum or your mum's home and indicated to you through a text message that your mum was drunk, correct?
Unconscious, paralytic. They had to turn the cooker off because the dinner was burnt out in the bottom of the pot and she was on the bed like that.
And you say that was a week ago?
Yeah.
It's a week ago.
Yeah.
So let me ask you the question again, Mum.
Yeah.
You told me moments ago the last serious drink you had was a month ago.
Yes.
Evidence has been provided to me in the course of this case which indicates that the reality is that you were drunk to the point of unconsciousness a week ago.
I wouldn't say unconsciousness, no.
Drunk,
no.
severely drunk, a week ago. So when you told me it was a month ago, Wasn't true, was
Yeah.
it?
Yes, sorry.
Why did you tell me, Porky? Why?
Because that was just indoors having a drink. I didn't class that as out on a binge.
What do you class as drinking seriously? Only when you're out of the house?
Just going out, having maybe a couple of days, just...
Do you accept that, bearing in mind what's said, that your drinking may have reached the point of being a problem?
No. I mean, I still managed to hold down a job and carry on with my normal everyday life, you know, I've not...
Well, there's nothing I can do to help you with, madam, then.
When she used to come round and she hadn't had a drink, her and Natalie get on like a house on fire. But then she's got a bottle of brandy in her bag. She'll go, I'm going to the toilet, I'm going out to the car. And then
drinking.
after a few swigs, then Natalie's tell, you've been drinking. No, I haven't. And Natalie can see she's been drinking.
And
Everyone
I
can
go
see
down
she's
her
been
bag,
drinking.
pour
and
it
then they
out,
fall out.
and then she starts shouting at me, oh, because I hide it.
Do you recognise any of this?
Some of it, yeah.
I used to love my
Be
mum
quite-
staying at my house.
Sorry?
I used to love her staying.
But also, can I say...
Just hear what she just said there.
Yeah.
She used to love you staying at the house.
Sometimes I didn't even want her to go home. And then she starts drinking, and then I just don't even want to look at her. Her face makes me sick when she's had a drink. I don't even have to hear her talk. I can just tell by looking at her face if she's had a drink.
She's not invented this.
Yeah, I agree.
So when I ask you, does your personality change when you're drinking?
Yes, yeah.
And when both of them stand here, it's not about the money for a second. Let's put the money to one side. When Ben and Natalie describe what you're like when in drink, they're telling me the truth.
I'll probably just go to sleep.
No, Jay. You don't think your drinking is a problem?
No.
I can't help you.
She'll die soon anyway.
No, it's not that bad, Jo.
Yes, it is, Mum.
It's not.
You
Why does
hide
she-
bottles, you pour the milk away in the morning so you can go to the shop to get drink. You got it in the back of your car. Have you been done before for drink driving? Have you been on a ban for that before?
No, I'm failing to provide, not drink driving.
Yes.
Same thing,
Yeah,
madam.
yeah.
And the whole 18
Be
months
quiet,
when you
though.
were
Let me-
driving,
listen.
have I called the police on you before because you've left my house drunk and
Listen.
gone to drive?
Listen,
Liar.
Natalie.
Have I had to phone an ambulance, my neighbours, because you passed that outside my house in between your car with the bottle of brandy on the floor? You was out there for 3 hours. That didn't happen, no, Mum.
No, that was when I was on crutches. not
No,
that.
it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
They're telling me the truth about these incidents. For the sake of this relationship, do you accept that the drinking is a problem?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. How bad is it?
So it's not every day. It's mainly of a weekend. You know, as I say, I go to work and...
It's called being a functioning alcoholic.
Right.
Just because you're alcoholic doesn't mean that you're living under a bridge. Do you understand that? Right?
OK.
And that's what's in your mind. When I say, are you an alcoholic, you're thinking to yourself, does that mean that I'm somebody who's homeless? Or you've got totally the wrong idea. Lots of people, all sorts of people, have issues with alcohol. You'd be surprised. Right?
OK.
And that admission is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to accept and to work on so that you can have a relationship. Because that's what happens when you're out, you lose everything. Do you accept that you've got an alcohol problem?
Yes.
Natalie, how does it feel to hear Mum say that for the first time?
Feels good.
Part of your claim is your phobia around eating.
Yes. Yes, Judge.
What do you say? What sweets would Stacey go and buy?
All sorts of sweets.
£10 worth.
Well, not straight on that same day. She used to spend maybe £3 or £4 and keep the rest for another day, Judge.
I don't eat a lot, Judge.
She eats chips, apples, she eats the pastry off sausage rolls, crisps, and obviously she'll get the munchies from the weed that she smokes every single day. So that's what she's probably wanting the money for.
You've just said she gets the what from the what?
Munchies from smoking our weed. Our buckets every day in the house.
What are you talking about? What?
Weed.
She's on about how I used to use cannabis for
She still
medicinal
does.
purposes a year ago.
She still does, Judge.
That's not the issue here. I'm talking about when she was 9, 10 or 11. £10 comes into the household. That at the time would have been a lot of money to you.
They used to spend it themselves. Daisy used to spend it herself. I'm sorry, Judge, but she used to spend it herself.
The other thing I'm told is that Mum taught you one or two things over the years, Stacey.
Steal, lie and cheat my way through life. McDonald's many years ago used to have quite big toilet rolls.
Yes.
My mum, she would not have money because she'd spend it on other things, and she'd ask us to help her steal the toilet rolls from McDonald's toilets.
Well, I've heard some wicked behaviour before, but let me tell you, this does not make your mum Fagin. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. What that tells me is not that Mum's wicked, but that she's clearly in financial dire straits. Could that be true?
Yes, I have.
Did you tell your children?
I've borrowed a toilet roll.
You didn't borrow a toilet roll. You see, that's how I know that you're telling me porkies. Because you're using language which is nonsense. You borrow a toilet roll. Don't worry, I'll return the sheets that I used. Now, Stacey,
Yes, sir.
the second part of your claim, the first part we've heard about, and the second part of your claim is for damage that you say has been caused to you as a result of Mum's parenting growing up,
Yes.
and specifically that it's resulted in a food phobia.
Yes.
Explain to me what you mean.
When I was a young girl, I came very ill with meningitis. From then, at 4, I wouldn't eat properly. I became a very, very fussy, picky eater. My mum used to pin me down, hold my nose, force feed beans into my mouth, to the point of where I'd be choking physically on my sick. And when she let me go, she'd whack me and call me a dirt, excuse my language, but a dirt for being sick near her. This has caused me to eat the same diet to now, 21 years, I've had exactly the same food.
Now, that's a psychological condition, you say, caused by violence and trauma. What's your diet now, then?
Really bad. And there's stuff I can't cook or deal with, especially baked beans. I can't even smell them, and I feel sick, and physically, violently sick and panicky. I eat a very, very limited amount of food, and it's affecting my health now. I get B12 injections, a replacement for my B12, one every 3 months, because I don't have enough vitamins in my body. You know you don't need a wheelchair, but you got pushed around all day in a wheelchair.
No, that is wrong.
Is it wrong? Really? You beat me, you abused me.
Wheelchair. I did not abuse you, right? I've had
a
enough of
lot
this.
in my life.
That video was a year and a half ago. It was my 50th birthday. My son asked us to have a little dance, so I did for about 2-3 minutes. Couldn't stand up any longer for the way I was feeling.
My mum is the worst ever. She is disgusting. She'd steal, cheat away from anything. She lies through her teeth all the time.
I've done nothing to you. I haven't force-fed you or anything like that. You are desperately wrong. Stacey, I never want to see you again. You are a disgusting, vile girl, and don't ever get in contact with me again.
She's a horrible woman. I hate her. She's not my mother. She's Shirley.
Now, you've got that £13,000. What I'd like to see, which is very important, is what you did with that money. I presume you've provided me with evidence of paying off the credit card.
I paid some of it off, but not all of it.
Madam, let's just pause. You went to your daughter, who used the last vestige of her divorce settlement to assist you get out of substantial and incredibly corrosive debt. You represented that the purpose was to pay off a credit card. She gave you £13,000. Are you telling me today that you didn't use that money to pay off that credit card?
Not all of it, no.
When did you discover that Mum had not used all of that money for the credit card?
Yesterday.
Sheila, how much of it did you use to pay down some of the credit card?
6,000 of it.
What happened to the other 7,000, Sheila?
I used it for bills, my mortgage and household bills.
What happened to the rest of the credit card debt?
I'm still paying it now.
Now, how do you feel about that? It's a misrepresentation.
Shocked.
Do you feel let down? The reality is, Sheila, as ugly as it sounds, and it may not have been what's in your heart, you lied.
Yeah.
You lied to your own daughter about it. Don't be stupid. Stay and watch the best Judge Rinder moments. And I'm talking. Understood? Don't be a moron. Subscribe to Judge Rinder YouTube channel. Right now. That's an order.